Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So welcome to another episode of Christian Apologetics. And now today I wanted to tackle and to make a case and to respond to this very common argument that you might have seen online, on social media, maybe you have yourself this argument or you have talked to someone that has used this argument, and that is classifying all religions as if they're all equally the same, right? They're all man-made, they're all flawed, they're all myths, that they're not really based on history, on evidence, on facts, um, and that your religion. So, if you're a person and you, for example, you're a Christian, well, that depends because you were born in a Christian country or you were born in a Christian household. So, your parents were Christians, they taught you about God, about the Bible, about Jesus, about going to church, and all these Christian things. So, you were you arrived at believing them and believing that Christianity is true just because we were born in this environment. If you would have been born in a Muslim household or a Muslim country, you would instead have been a Muslim. You would have believed in Islam, you would have believed in Allah and Muhammad, and so you would have had a different religion. And so, again, this claim kind of puts the idea that all religious beliefs are equally the same and that they're dependent on external factors such as the place where you're born or the family that you're born, so the religion that your family, your household has. And again, this is an argument I've seen especially Alex O'Connor using. There is like a video where he talks about divine hiddenness, about this argument right here, and about a third one. And also Ricky Gervais and other atheists and skeptics use this argument. And again, this is an attempt to somehow undermine the truth of the different religions by just stating that, well, you have come to believe that that particular claim is true because we were born into that environment. If you have been born in a different environment, you have believed otherwise. So as if the claims that each religion has or the how much you believe that they're true just depend on where you're born. And now this might be very rhetorically persuasive, but this argument can be very easily, and I'm going to make a case as to why we can show this argument has faulty thinking, has faulty reasoning, and actually it backfires. Because again, if this is true, again, there is some truth in it, because of course, if the family that you're born in has certain values or certain religion, like for example, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they're going to teach you, the child, they're going to teach them about their own religion. And so the child might grow to become a Jehovah's Witness. Now, this can be said about any religion, right? Now, the interesting factor is that this can also be said about atheists, about skeptics, about no religious people. Someone that is born in a non-religious family most likely is also going to be non-religious. So this argument can be used also for skeptics or for atheists. So we can say to them, well, you're an atheist, or you have come to believe that atheism is true just because you were born in an atheist country or atheist household. Your parents were atheists, so they taught you about that. So you've come to believe that that's true, not really because you've reasoned about the evidence or because you've reasoned about religions, but because you have come to believe that that's true. So you can see how this can be used in the same way to the critic in this case that criticizes that religions and religious people and religious beliefs. So that's the first issue. Now the second issue is that the assumption that all religions are fundamentally the same, they're all man-made, as this quote says, that they are that your name, your religion, your nationality, your race just depend on where you're born. So whatever you define or defend is like a fictional identity. Or even another one that says that all religions must be tolerated because every man must get to heaven in his own way. Each religion is a pathway to eventually the afterlife, the blessed afterlife, or the God or gods, or the divine consciousness, the energy, or whatever whatever idea you might have about the universe and the deity. So that these are all things that they're all the same. So all religions have fundamentally they're the same. But again, this it's not true. Religions, yes, they might have certain similarities, but religions, the different religions, make hugely different claims, and they're also contradictory claims between themselves. So if, I don't know, Christianity is true, then Islam must be false. It's not like Christianity and Islam can be true at the same time. They can't, because they make contradictory claims about Jesus, who Jesus is, who God is, his relationship to us, and in many other things. So again, this is just an example between like two very well-known religions. But if we apply it to Buddhism or to Hinduism or to every other religion, is also the same. Like the religions have different claims about the structure of reality, how God or gods or the consciousness or the whatever the divine is, what happens after we die in the afterlife. Are you reincarnated? Are you you become part of the divine? Do you are raised or resurrected? Do you live as a spirit? Do you experience the blessings of this place? Or maybe nothing happens, as atheists say. So you can see how all these different concepts, they could be all false, yes, but they can all be true, right? Because you either reincarnate, or you become part of the divine, or you resurrect, or you live as a spirit, or nothing happens. But it's not like all of them can happen, right? So I hope you can see how religions make very big and different claims, and they can't be true at the same time. So saying that all religions are a pathway to heaven or to God or to whatever, it just ignores the complexity and the huge differences that religions have between themselves. And again, another problem with this argument is that even if there is some truth in it, and of course the family that you're born in influences the religious that you might have, we have many examples of atheists coming from religious families, or religious people coming from atheist families, or I know Christians coming from Muslim families, or Muslims coming from Christian families, and so forth. So we have many examples. So again, it looks like yes, the influence of the household is big, but doesn't necessarily mean that the person is going to have that particular religious view or non-religious view. And another problem is that even if this argument is true, it doesn't say anything about the truthfulness of the claims of the religion. So how the fact that maybe I'm a Christian because I was born in a Christian household, yes, maybe you're right, but what does this prove about Christianity? What does this say about the truth of the Christian claims? Nothing, right? Because how my belief originated, how I come to be a Christian, the fact that I was born in a Christian household, does not say anything about the truth of Christianity, or about the truth of atheism, or Islam, or whatever other religion. So this is called genetic fallacy. So if you say otherwise, if you say that yes, it actually invalidates your claims, invalidates the truth of Christianity, then this is a fallacy, because again, you are invalidating or validating certain claims just because of their source, not because of the content of the claim. So you're not analyzing what Christianity claims, but just analyzing how Christianity came to be. And again, this is entirely a fallacy. It's just wrong to do. So I hope that I was able to show you the problems with this view, and why, even though this may be rhetorically good and persuasive, but at a strict and a more attentive, careful look, we can see the problems with this position. And not to mention the fact that, yes, religions have certain similarities, but as I said before, they have big differences. And especially Christianity has fundamental differences, in the case that not only has, as it shows here, a different idea of who man is, the relationship between man and God, and how man can reach to the point where they're going to be with the divine, with God in this case. But Christianity also has a rich history of corroboration, of history, of witness testimony. There are thousands and thousands of manuscripts, especially of the Old or the New Testament, that we can just compare. There is a lot of textual criticism done, so we know exactly parts that were added, variants, mistakes, misspellings. We have these things, and therefore we can carefully recover the original, what was most likely the original manuscripts. And so there is a rich history of Christianity. There is a lot of evidence, of facts about Christianity, about the people that were living there, about the facts, what they did, what they say. Yes, you might argue, you might not believe about those claims. Okay, but at least you have to recognize that there is a rich history of that, unlike any other ancient religion. So I hope you can see that Christianity is different from other religions. And again, this claim here that says that all religion is man-made, or that it just depends on what you do, right? You must earn your way to heaven. You must do certain things. Well, all this just ignores the fact that yes, most religions do say that. You try to reach up to God. You have to do things in order to be right with God or with the divine, and that you must earn your salvation, your way to heaven, right? You have to act good. Now, acting good is something that is similar to many, many, many different religions. But again, what is the main difference with Christianity? The fact that in religions, if you act good, yes, maybe you act also bad, you do bad things, but if your good is more than your bad, then you get the blessings, in a sense, in the afterlife. If your bad is more than your good, then depending on religion, you might have to go through a process of refining, right? You might have some issues in the afterlife, right? So you might not come to be so blessed. But it's still something that you have to earn your way to heaven. Christianity instead is entirely different. Is God reaching us? So God coming to man, God becoming actually a human being, living among us, and teaching us, showing us, revealing us God, and then also coming to die on the cross and taking our place, because we deserved that death because of our sins, our rebellion against God. But because of his love, God himself takes our place, and he dies, and also he rises from the dead, and that's Jesus. So it's entirely different. It's not because of our efforts that we get to God, but it's him, his love and mercy. He comes to us. We can do anything to earn God's favor, or that we can be made right to God. Nothing. There is nothing we can do, no human effort which will ever gonna make us reach God. But instead, he comes down, and through him, we can now have a way to access to God. We now have a way to enter into this afterlife, into this eternity. And again, it's all about what Jesus did. It's not about what I can do. It's about what he did. And if I believe, again, because faith or believing or trusting is what really makes me receive all that, makes me inherit the promises, makes me become part of God's family, makes me right with God. And again, it's not human effort. It's not me. I'm not earning my salvation. There's nothing that I can do. It's about what Jesus did. And if I believe that, that's it. That's all it's required. So it's not about works. And again, Christianity just switches, because it's like, it's not I obey, therefore I'm accepted, right? If I do this, then the God is going to be pleased with me. Christianity is the same. God is pleased with me, therefore I obey, therefore I do. I'm saved. God shows me his grace, his forgiveness, his love. And now that I come to believe him and I trust in him, now I act good. Now I follow him. Now I obey Jesus' commandments. And so again, it's switching. So Christianity is entirely different from all the other religions. And again, I'm going to leave you with this video. It's not directly linked to this, what we talked about, but I hope you can see it. And I hope you can see in a very nice way from C.S Lewis. It's an excerpt from The Abolition of Man. And it's the problems of having subjective morality, or not having an objective grounding for reality, for why, for example, human flourishing should be adopted rather than something else. And Lewis just exposes the inconsistency of many people that try to discredit religion, and especially Christianity, in favor of something else. But again, they end up doing what they were trying to reject. So they reject something in one side, but then they end up doing the same thing in another sense. So I'm going to leave this video in the description below. I hope you can watch it. It's very, very good because it's all with the drawings. And so it can really help you to see more in detail what the voice narrates, what he's talking over. And again, I just wanted to end, as always, with the scriptures, with the Bible. And I'm going to read some verses here, which I believe, again, are some key differences with Christianity compared to other religions. Again, these verses in Matthew 5, I say, this is Jesus talking, and he says, "You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet only your brothers, what more are you doing than others? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? You therefore must be perfect, as your heavenly Father is perfect." And again, this concept of loving your enemies, praying for those who persecute you, it's something that it's unique to Christianity. No religion has this concept of loving your enemies, or to pray or to bless those who persecute you, to actively harm you. No other religion has this. They might say that you might not act, you might not respond violence with violence, that you might stay like stoic, or that you might tolerate them, but it never says that you must love them. But in Christianity, Jesus commands that you have to love your enemies. Why? Because God is the same. He blesses the evil and the good, right? He sends the rain on the just and also on the unjust. So if God loves in both those who believe in him and those who do not with blessings, then also we should do the same. And again, if you just love those who are with you, or those who are your friends, or those who agree with you, then what reward do you have, right? That's simple, that everyone does that. But Jesus here is calling his believers, his followers, to do something more, something different. And that's wonderful. Again, another verse, Romans 5, 6-8 says, "For while we were still weak, at the right time Christ died for the ungodly." So people who were mockers of God, who hated God, who blasphemed God, who didn't want anything to do with God. "For one will scarcely die for a righteous person, though perhaps for a good person one would dare even to die. But God shows his love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." So you can see here how, especially verse 8, there is no merit. Just because of his love, Christ came and he died for us. When we were enemies of God, when we were rejecting him, when we were hating him, he came the same and he died for us to give us a chance to be reconciled to him and to be saved from the consequences of our sin, from our death, from the eternal death and separation. And so this is something that he did for people that do not deserve it. So again, it's not like in many other religions where if you do things that please the God, then God blesses you, then God does something good for you. But in this case, Jesus came and he died for people that do not deserve it. And again, no one deserves it. And that's the implication, right? That we all are sinners. Not even one of us deserves what Jesus did, but he did because of his love. And another one here in Ephesians chapter 2 that says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not your own doing, it is a gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast." Again, huge difference to many other religions. Is not about what you do, right? Works. It's not about how much good you do, or how much you can please the divine, or how much works, right? No, it's not your doing. There is nothing actually that you can do to be saved, to merit God's salvation. It is a gift, right? A gift is something that is given to you, and you haven't done nothing to deserve it, other than the person loving you and wanting to give you a gift. And again, this is by grace. So again, it's something unmerited through faith. So believing, trusting is what makes us receive this salvation. And again, so that no one can boast. No one can say to God, well, I'm saved because I was a good person, or because I did this, I did that. I served the Lord. I went to church every day, or I read my Bible every day. I prayed every day. No, those things do not really save you. They can't save you. And it's just because of what Jesus did, his sacrifice, his work on the cross, and his resurrection. And when we believe in that, when we believe in him, that's when we receive his grace, his salvation. And again, it's a gift. So no one can boast. No one can say, I did this, or I deserved this. And again, these are just some key verses that just, again, I hope they can show you how big Christianity, how different Christianity is compared to other religions. So I hope you enjoyed. God bless you. Thanks for watching, and see you. Bye-bye.